let's say my client comes into a windfall of money, and this deals with the psychology of money too. I have this conversation all the time. I'm sitting across from him. My client comes in, gets a lot of money, and I'm talking about 6 figures. What would be your advice to them?
Okay, first let's talk about, let's break this down in percentage terms, not dollar terms, because what matters is what percent of that settlement you're allocating to different things. Okay?
I'm down for it.
So let's take the first 5% and set it aside. I'll tell you what to do with it at the end.
Okay.
Okay, well, you're taking 5%, set that aside. Okay. You're going to go and hire a professional. Okay. You need an advisor. Now, this is where things get tough because you might think that you have a great financial planner, but it's actually an insurance salesman. And before you know it, you've got $5 million in insurance coverage, but you have no money in stocks. You need to hire somebody who really knows what they're doing. Okay. If you don't know anybody else, call me. I know what I'm doing, and I have proof that I'm helping people a lot. You need a planner, somebody who's going to help you figure out, not just tell you what to do with your money, but figure out who you are, what's your preferences, and help you build a plan that works for you. So that plan is going to involve you knowing how much money you're going to make, knowing how much money you're going to spend, okay, budgeting, just know how much is going out the door. And then, because every time I sit down with someone to do a budget, I say, okay, so are you saving $40,000 a year? They're like, no, we're not saving anything a year. So where's the other $40,000 going? Really couldn't tell you. Okay, so let's know what we're doing with our money. After that, he's going to help you figure out how to allocate your funds.
Okay.
We got this money. We just talked about it. Keeping it in the bank is not the best option.
Okay.
So we need to figure out what to do with it. And with that comes all kinds of pitfalls, psychological pitfalls, people trying to take your money from you by convincing you something's a great idea when it's really a great idea for the person selling it more than it's for you.
Or they could just be asking you for money because they think you hit the lottery.
Or yeah, and another thing is if you make a bunch of money, try not to tell too many people. You know, I get that it is exciting when something life-changing happens to you and you want to share in that with people, but try not to tell too many.
I tell everyone, keep your settlement confidential.
Yeah.
Don't let people even know you settle your case, because you're going to get cousins and friends and relatives you didn't even know existed.
And that's another great thing. Probably one of the greatest things about having a plan is that when all your money's spoken for and allocated somewhere, it's not just sitting there. Like, you don't have the option to just, okay, I'll loan you. It's like, no, I
blame
can't.
it on AJ.
Yeah, blame it on me. I don't have that money in the bank. It's locked up. It's invested. I have a plan. This doesn't work with my plan.
Okay, let's go back to the plan. 5% set aside.
All right. Once you've got your plan in place, you can pat yourself on the back, congratulate yourself, because you've just put yourself into a permanently better financial situation because you've taken care of it. Take that 5% and think about what's something that you've just wanted to do, some yearning, burning desire that you've had that you couldn't itch, you couldn't scratch, or it's a vacation, or no telling what it is. A lot of people want a new car. They want to upgrade the kitchen and the house, whatever it is. Go do that and treat yourself and enjoy it. You can really enjoy it guilt-free because you know you've already set yourself up right. So now spending this money, it doesn't have that like hint of guilt to it. If you don't really know what you're doing, you get a bunch of money. At first, you feel rich, and then you see what spending is like, and then the spending is cool for like a month, and then you got to kind of spend a little more to get the same feeling, and then 6 months go by, and then of course everybody comes out the wood. They see you spending money. You spend some money on your friends. Before you know it, it's like I'm already down half of my settlement, and I don't even know what to do with the other half.
Then you get paralyzed.
And then you get paralyzed, and then you say, okay, I just got to I'm going to put it or hey, I'm just going to buy a CD so I can't touch it, right? So now you're 28, 35 years old, you got $250,000, and it's locked up in a CD making you 4%. Meanwhile, the market's doing 30%. So it's a lot of this is about not missing out on the gains that you should.
I like what you said about the 5% in our previous podcast. If you don't treat yourself with 5%, 2%, 5%, you're going to think that the whole settlement is for your enjoyment.
Yes, that's why I say you need to set that part aside.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. All right. Tell me, let's go percentages wise, that 5%. Tell me the next percentage that you would look at.
Okay, well, the usually the number 2 thing is a house. Do you own a house or not? If you don't own a house, you don't have to buy a house. Buying a house is not always a good idea. It's not always financially savvy. But a lot of times that's what people want to do is own a home. And there's, again, a lot of psychological benefit to that. But you're going to want to take a look at your home situation. Should you upgrade? Should you, rent a bigger place? That's usually what most people think about. Next thing after that is the car.
Wait a second. We skipped one that you typically hit hard.
What's that?
High interest credit card debt or debt.
Well, yeah. So before we even talk about assets, let's talk about debts. So yeah, if you have any high interest debt, that's the most obvious thing to do. Think about it this way. If I got a credit card and it's charging me 26% interest, if I pay that off, that's a guaranteed 26% return. So that's, Buffett did 20% over his lifetime. 26%, that's pretty good. I would take every opportunity to get 26%.
Okay, so pay off payday loans, high interest credit card. You might have a high note on a car because you're in a different financial situation. So your rent-to-own car is charging you 15, 20%.
Yeah.
You could have a high mortgage rate. You could have
consumer debt.
You could have some old hospital bills that you didn't take care of. Mm-hmm. Some old just miscellaneous bills. Mm-hmm. Wipe that out with the next percentage. And that could be anywhere from 10 to 30 or 40%, depending on the person.
Yeah, it depends. It completely depends on how much debt you got, but you have to knock it out. It's like a cancer. And I know it sucks. You get this nice 6 figures in your bank account and then it immediately rolls out. I'm about to pay off a car. I have a car note, bought my wife a car because we needed a car that could hold 3 car seats, which was like, oh my gosh. But got an 8% rate. And I know the right thing to do is to pay it off, but just seeing that much money leave my bank account all at once, like, I don't want to do it. Again, I'm still a human being with human psychology, and I know the numbers work out, but I'm like, man, I'm probably going to pay off 10 grand, 20 grand, and then start paying like double the minimum per month. And that's me just, hard and fast rules, or you can throw out the hard and fast rules. You should always do, just like working out, like, sorry if I'm trailing, but when you're working out, most people go into the gym and they try to go super hard and do all the crazy things they see on YouTube and try to really get that good workout and feel like they did the right thing. When in reality, your first workout should be like you almost do nothing because you're going to get sore so quick and the rest of it is just unneeded fatigue. And if you keep doing that, you're going to feel like crap after a couple months and you're going to quit completely. Meanwhile, you could just go to the gym and do what I call a minimum effective volume. You just do just enough that it makes a difference, and then you keep pumping up that volume.
It's the tortoise and the hare.
It's the tortoise and the hare, exactly.
Okay, and then the last 50%, are you investing that?
I'm investing as much as I possibly can. The only reason I'm doing this other stuff is to allow me to know how much I can invest and know that I can keep it there for a long time. You have to be able to keep it there for a long time. If you're going to cash out next year, don't buy stocks. If you have minimum 5 years. Now, it could work out great where next year it's way up and you sell. Great, but I wouldn't count on that. I would count on needing at least 5 years, probably more like 10 years to watch your money double. But I know my money's doubling in the next decade. Okay, I don't know that, but that is the most likely outcome. And even if it doesn't double in the next decade, there probably wasn't some great alternative. There wasn't some other investment that doubled and mine didn't. See what I'm saying? It could just be that the future of investing isn't as great as the present.